Is this you, dying over and over again and getting less kills than a Tibetan monk? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you some more tips for how to stop dying in Warzone. What's up guys, it's Average Ol, making average content for the average viewer, and today I wanted to update a video I did a couple of weeks ago on how to die less in Warzone. Before we get on with it, let's see if we can hit 40 likes on today's video, and if you're new here, it would be awesome if you'd subscribe. Speaking of which, the gameplay that you'll be seeing in the background today was of a scopes and scatterguns match that I played with one of my subscribers, Matthew Day. We had a couple of awesome games together and finished it nicely with this win, so I hope you enjoy it. So Warzone has now been out for a while and we have seen our first set of updates and metas have shifted and new ones have been formed. So I thought that I'd update you on a few Warzone tips that should stop you from dying. Number 1. Don't use dead silence. Now, I'm not sure if this has been put into the game intentionally or if it's just currently bugs, but Matt, who I was playing with, actually noticed this, so I had to try it out myself. Whilst you have dead silence active, you cannot apply armor plates, and as a result, this could really end up in getting you killed. Look at this footage here. No matter how hard I try, I cannot replenish my armor until the dead silence has worn off. So I suggest that if you enjoy getting caught with your pants down like a peeping Tom who's afraid of the dark, I would refrain from using dead silence for the meantime until we hear of some sort of patch. Number 2. Choose the right sniper. Okay, so as time has gone on, we have seen a lot of debate about which sniper is best to use in Warzone and what attachments are going to give you the optimal performance. For the first few weeks, I had convinced myself that I preferred using the AX50. This was because it was what I had mainly used in multiplayer, and prior to the release of Warzone, it was widely seen as the best sniper in the game. However, one thing to note about this is that even in ground war, you are never really sniping at the sort of ranges that you would consistently see enemies at in Warzone, and as a result, factors come into play such as bullet velocity that you would not have had to worry about before. Now, because of this, I have found that the AX50 is pretty much outclassed by the HDR 9 times out of 10, and this is due to the fact that there is a lot less bullet drop on the HDR, meaning that you barely have to aim above your target at all. This is so useful to know because it means if you're sniping someone that has a HDR and you have the AX50, it is going to be so much easier for them to slot you straight between the eyes and send you crying to the gulag. Now, there is more that I want to talk about on snipers, and that's to do with attachments. So by now, everyone in the game will be using Cold-Blooded as their tier 1 perk, and if they aren't, well, they seriously need to get their head checked. I mean seriously, who the hell needs Scavenger when everyone that you kill drops ammo anyway? People are using Cold-Blooded because so many people in Warzone are using thermal sniper scopes. Now do you see why this is counterintuitive? So using a thermal sniper scope means that the ADS time is super slow, and because people aren't glowing white because of Cold-Blooded, it means that now you're at a double disadvantage. It's important to remember that most snipers you come across will still be using heavy, cumbersome thermal snipers, so you will have a much better chance of winning the sniper battle if you have a faster gun. Plus, if you're stuck with a slow ADS sniper rifle, that means that you will be constantly aiming down sight, meaning that you will have the sniper glint 100% of the time. So I would suggest that you no longer rely on the thermal scope. If you want to die less in Warzone, make sure you have at least 2 of the attachments that will speed up your ADS time, and just stick with the regular sniper scope or the variable zoom sniper scope. This will help you no end. Number 3. Ghost. Since Warzone release, the meta has been to always run an overkill glass as your custom loadout, and yeah, I do this too, as to be honest, I start to feel a bit naked without my sniper. With that being said, since Season 3 dropped for Modern Warfare, a number of things have changed in the way that the game plays that might make you change your mind about this. So before Season 3, I was always going for an overkill class first and then waiting for a free loadout drop to get the perk Ghost on a second class. However, there have been some massive changes that I believe change this dramatically. The first one being that now you need 10 grand to buy a loadout drop. This is a huge difference from the original 6 grand that you needed, and as a result it means that you are less likely to be able to get your drops straight off the bat. Now because of this, people have realised that in the beginning, if the first few circles of Warzone, not very many people will be running Ghosts, so there is a big emphasis on UAV spam. Now back to the point. I would highly recommend that you make a class with just a primary weapon and Ghost and pick that one up first. One of the things that is going to help you stop dying in Warzone the most is being able to stay off of that radar, so getting Ghost early is going to give you a massive advantage. Now the other thing that has changed for Season 3 is the floor loot, so now it is so easy to find really powerful, fully kitted snipers in crates and even off of the ground, not to mention that most people that you kill will also have snipers on them, so there is no point in wasting a perk slot on overkill anymore. And if you're off of the map with one decent primary, you're well on your way to dying less in Warzone. Number 4. Pick your engagements. The nature of any battle royale is that it is going to be somewhat of a sandbox environment. This means that at any one time, a number of different scenarios can often and will play out. You could be running around peacefully, looting some buildings, and then all of a sudden you hear two teams fighting it out right next to you. At this point you have to make a choice. Do you swoop in and third party and go for the glory of the kills, or do you run away and leave them to it? These are split second decisions that you have to make that could lead to you dying quicker than someone's dreams and ambitions after they try heroin for the first time. Before you get into any gunfight, there are a few things that you can do to optimise your chances of survival. First and foremost is take a look at the zone position. If you're in front of an enemy team running for the zone, then don't stop in the middle of a field to try and snipe them as they run towards you. Instead, get your position in the zone and wait for them to come to you. You'll have a much better chance of winning the gunfight if you don't have to run from the zone and they can't stop to fire back. I can't count the amount of deaths that I've had because I get kill hungry and took out a squad en route to the storm, only to die crawling in the grass looking like a right knob because I wasn't paying attention to the circle. Number 5. Look for the fourth man. We have been playing nothing but trios now for well over a month, and because of this, we have become accustomed to playing Warzone in this manner. However, something that I've noticed myself and my friends doing when playing squads is we often forget about the fourth man of the enemy squad. There have been a number of occasions where me and my mates have been fighting an enemy squad and we get 3 of them down, and then we become more aggressive than a 48-year-old businessman when you tell him that you don't think socialism is such a bad idea, looking for the one that has the self-revive. However, we have forgotten that actually they had a fourth man hiding on top of rooftop next to them and he jumps down and sprays us all in the back, and then we're left feeling sick with a 10th place finish because we were just being idiots. The simple Warzone tip here would be always make sure you're communicating with your team about how many you have downed, and just keep in the back of your mind that there could always be 4 people you're fighting, and if someone insists on pushing the down players, well, maybe just let him. At worst, all he'll do is bait out the remaining guy so you know his position. Don't worry, there isn't anything unethical about using a friend as bait, especially if that means that you die less in Warzone. So there we have it, 5 more tips for how to stop dying in Warzone. I hope you found some of them useful. I'd love for you guys to let me know some ideas for videos that you would like to see in the future. We've been getting a lot of good results on the channel recently, and it would be amazing to keep this momentum going. Now, if you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know that I like to ask really random questions at the end to see who has made it this far. So if you're still here, I'd like you to let me know by answering this question down in the comments. Would you rather have no knees or no elbows? Anyway, that's it from me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.